Am I the asshole for giving my daughter a nickname that she now likes better than her legal name? My ex-husband and I have a 10-year-old daughter. When I was pregnant, my ex-husband repeatedly requested we name her after his dead mother, Ethel. I wasn't a fan, but after a while, I relented. From infancy, it felt strange calling her that. She just didn't seem it. My ex and I divorced 2 years later and I took to calling her, Elle, as a nickname. Due to the nature of his work, X gets her on weekends. He always called her Ethel, and for 8 years, she seemed to have no problem with either. Her friends did take to calling her, Elle, though, which my ex was fine with. For the past 6 months, however, my daughter has stopped using Ethel and writes, Elle, on everything. Her notebooks, her schoolwork, we moved houses and she got a sign for her door, she requested it say Elle. According to my ex, she refuses to go by Ethel now. She tells him, I'm Elle, Daddy. He is furious with me for starting this nickname and basically erasing why he wanted to name her after his mom. Keep in mind, I don't solely call her Elle and have used Ethel for legal documents, when talking to her, etc. Elle just came out more. My argument is she has been called both for years. It's her name, her choice. My ex is calling her Elle but says it's my fault. My current husband backs me up, but my ex-in-laws are mad. Am I the asshole? ETA, I am not changing her name legally. 1. It'd require my ex signing off and he wouldn't. 2. I don't want to when she's this young. She could choose to go my Ethel at a later time, which is fine. I had a friend that constantly switched between her first name and middle name. Had her parents legally changed it, it'd be for nothing when she finally just went by her first name at 22. She hasn't requested a legal name change and has understood a teacher will call her that until corrected. She doesn't care. ETA 2. People keep asking why I agreed. This was a 5-year argument that started when we got married and talked about having kids. I kept saying, it's not worth it till I get pregnant. Well, I did and he wouldn't budge. I offered compromises, naming her after his mom's middle name, using Ethel as a middle name, etc., but he would not budge. I got tired of fighting and I didn't hate the name, so I said fine and said but then I pick her middle name. He agreed. We both called her Elle, Ellie, LL as a baby. Elle began to stick about a year after the divorce and I would still call her Ethel, introduce her as such. It only became her main name about 6 months ago by her choosing. Not the asshole. I can't imagine why you're divorced, he sounds like a champ. Not the asshole. It's not like you legally changed her name. Elle is gonna be a teenager soon. Your ex should get a grip on his control issues before he alienates his daughter totally. Not the asshole. A lot of kids have nicknames they prefer to use at least in social settings, this doesn't seem unusual. I'm sorry but Ethel is an old lady name. Of course she prefers Elle. And if you hadn't started it, someone else or Elle herself would have eventually. She's not asking to legally change it or anything, it's just a nickname she prefers. No one gets to decide what nickname she chooses except her. When I was a little older than Elle, I asked everyone, teachers and parents included, to call me Animal Child. It was a weird phase and people did it without argument. If people didn't give me a hard time about that, your ex-in-laws can suck it up and call her by her preferred nickname. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Our children are not obligated to keep the names we give them. Secondly, getting bent out of shape like this over a nickname is ridiculous. I use a nickname exclusively, so does my sister and even my partner who only uses initials. I can't imagine any of our parents getting worked up about these choices whatsoever. Not the asshole. If the kid doesn't want an old lady name, she shouldn't have an old lady name. Just make sure you explain to her that she still needs to use her legal name when required and that she can change that if she wants to once she turns 18. I don't recommend sooner because she may change her mind over the years, also it'll just make her dad more angry RN and he won't agree to it. Everyone sucks here for calling a kid Ethel. Not the asshole. People have been doing this since the dawn of time. And at 10, your daughter is old enough to know what she likes to be called. Not the asshole. If the name means so much to him, he should change his name to Ethel. Definitely not the asshole. Your child should be allowed to choose. All I can say is just to get her to keep using the actual name on legal documents, but if she wants to be called her nickname, that should be perfectly fine. I have a name from someone else but prefer to use my nickname, so most people call me by it, but as soon as someone says my actual name I just instantly start thinking they're angry at me, so I hope your daughter doesn't have that feeling at all. Not the asshole. Ethel isn't a common name and can lead to bullying. Not to mention him pressuring you into calling her that in the first place was an a-hole move to begin with. Elle is a common name, in my opinion, more beautiful too. She likes it. End of discussion. Not the asshole. And my mom was named Ethel as well. She started going by Ebby, her initials were EB, in high school and never went back. She's 68 and still hates when anyone calls her Ethel. It's still her legal name, but she only uses it on legal documents. My grandmother was a little upset at first, but she got over it. Names need to feel good to the person who has to live with them. Ethel is just too old-fashioned. It was even when my mom was born in 1951. Nah, it's definitely not your fault that your daughter prefers Elle, cause Ethel isn't really a popular name nowadays. I also understand how your ex wanted to honor his mother, but Elle is her own person who should have a name that reflects that. I think that her legal name is a good honor in itself, and her grandmother would still be proud even though she uses a shortened version. Not the asshole. Her life, her choice. Naming someone after someone else is rather odd tradition emo. But she can't really be blamed for not having that same attachment to it when she never even knew the person they were named for. And you can't be blamed for not being attached to it either and calling her by a nickname. Not the asshole. Names are the first gift you give your child. But like any gift, they get to choose what they do with it. It no longer belongs to the giver. Of course your ex is upset, but he didn't think about 2020 Ethel, and that's not fair to your daughter. Maybe suggest that your ex think about it as the stress on the second syllable instead of the first, Ethel, instead of Ethel, because it's not up to you to change her, it's up to him to manage himself. Not the asshole. Ethel. It sounds like she was named after a petroleum product. I wouldn't want that name either. Not the asshole. Who the hell would want to be named Ethel? I don't blame her. Not the asshole. She likes it better and it's her name, she can go by it if she wants. Not the asshole. Except for the part where you let your then husband name your daughter a very dated name that holds a lot of social stigma. Not the asshole. Of course she prefers Elle to Ethel. I'm a Catherine, but go by Katie. I don't feel like a Catherine. I only really associate Catherine with being told off or for official use. I know it's my name, but it's not my chosen name. Your daughter has every right to be called what she wants to be called, and it's not like it's so different from her official name either. It's a simple shortening that still reflects the name X. Not the asshole. Support your kid throughout. If the dad is making her feel bad about being comfortable with who she is, it's going to be a rough time for her. He is going apeshit over a nickname? Get a grip. The guy seems to lack perspective. I've only ever met old ladies named Ethel, so maybe she feels it's a bit dated. Not the asshole. El Meno P. This is like the Alexander versus Alex argument. Let the kid chose to be what they want, it's their life. Enta. Not the asshole. If she had liked her legal name, no nickname would have changed that. She's Elle. I decided in uni to change my name to my middle name. I never really liked my first name or its nickname. It never felt like me. I love my middle name though. My family is fine with it. It's literally why they gave me a middle name. For options, they said. You can't expect a child to love the name you do just because they gave it to you. Obviously he is an ex for a reason. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. It's a damn nickname and many people have one, myself included. I only get called by my first name by my grandparents, everyone else uses my nickname. X needs to take a chill pill. It's not like you've legally changed her name, and the main point being is she prefers her nickname. Not the asshole. Your kid can call themselves whatever they want. It's their choice, not yours or your ex's. I can kind of relate as I go by my nickname more than my legal name sometimes. Elle is her own person with self-autonomy, and can decide what she wants to be called. This is in the same vein as going by Maggie when your name is Margaret. He's being completely unreasonable and I can see why you're divorced. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. names carry weight, and expectation. When your daughter stopped being a living reminder of his mother, it's his own fault for putting such a burden on a little girl. NTA nobody likes have a zombie name. Even sorting by controversial, I couldn't find any "you're the asshole" votes or any serious esh. When the answers are that extremely one-sided, it means that it shouldn't have been posted here in the first place. Not the asshole. I'm a teenager with an old person name and hate it. Not the asshole. I do see a legal name change in your daughter's future at the rate your ex is going, though. Not the asshole. I have an awful first name. I hate it. I only use it for legal purposes. Let her decide. Hers is the only opinion that matters. It's her name. Most people don't know my real name. I only go by a nickname. Not the asshole. Your ex-husband is, though, for turning a child into a tribute and refusing to see her as her own person. No kid was going to go through her whole life being called Ethel. She and her friends would have come up with their own nickname. Not the asshole. Parents don't own their children and your ex has no right to be pissed that he doesn't get the legacy he wanted after you disliked the name from the start. The kid chose to go by that nickname. You're in the clear. Not the asshole. I have a weird name. I've gone back and forth from my given name to my nickname, back to my given name. He needs to lighten up. Someday she may love her old-timey name. Or not, her choice. Not the asshole. I'm an adult and I prefer my nickname to my legal name, to the point that it's on all my business cards. It is her choice and you didn't do it maliciously. Not the asshole. You're only the asshole if you give someone a nickname that they don't like. Not the asshole. Kids who are given the space to consider for themselves what they like will do so. My youngest has requested to be called by a shortened version of her name in class, to the point of having that be the name on her nameplate and Zoom id. Pushing the issue will only make it worse. Either they will continue to refuse, further aggravating the issue. Or they will relent, and get a small stab of hurt every time they are called by a non-preferred name. Not the asshole. Your kid prefers L, simple as that. Not the asshole. She's old enough to decide what she wants to be called. I have almost never gone by my legal name, and although I wasn't named to honor someone, I believe that just keeping it her legal name is enough of a sentiment. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I know lots of old-fashioned names are in again. My kids have fairly old-fashioned names, but I can't really imagine any kid being comfortable with Ethel these days. Your husband can be pissed, but this is your daughter's choice. He needs to respect her. Not the asshole. Ethel is an awful name for a kid in this century, and it was only a matter of time until she realized it. Was Bernice taken? How about Gertrude? Not the asshole. Lots of people go by nicknames. There are some names you even expect to be shortened. Few actually say Alexander or Josephine. They'll always be Alex and Joe or Josie. Not the asshole. Your daughter clearly made a choice, and if you hadn't given her the new name she would have found one on her own probably.